Hello, this is Jeff Kelly. Today, I want to talk to you about high rent and mortgage cost and answer the question. Can you predict whether or not somebody is going to end up in bankruptcy based on the percentage of how much they pay in rent or mortgage as compared to their net income? And I think the answer is yes. So, what is considered a healthy number? Well, financial guru Dave Ramsey says you should never go above 25%. So let me give you an example. If somebody's net income is their net take home is $10,000 a month, that means they wouldn't want um, rent or mortgage to exceed 2,500 per month. That is solid as it gets. Now, I think 30% is okay. I see a lot of clients who are at that 30% number and they succeed in making their Chapter 13s work. But what happens when it's more like 40% or in some cases, 50%? Well, personally, I would not advise anybody to file a Chapter 13 if you are spending 40, 50% of your net income for your rent or mortgage cost. And here's why. It's just not going to be possible after you account for food and clothing and maintenance. There's all sorts of things that are going to happen that you're going to need to have money to pay for, and it's just not going to be possible to do it when you are shelling out so much money just for the bare rent or the bare mortgage payment. Now, you can always file a Chapter 7, wipe out your debts, and get a fresh start as long as you don't have exposed equity in your house. Unfortunately, I am seeing a lot of cases where people are paying 40, 50% of their mortgage and they're way behind on debts, and they also have like $200,000-300,000 worth of equity in their houses. That's never going to work in a Chapter 13. It's just not going to be possible. Now, we're happy to sit down and look at every single case on a case by case basis to see, but it's not wise to file a Chapter 13 when you're shelling out so much money toward rent or mortgage and the budget is unrealistic. Because if you file Chapter 13 and you get a case dismissed, you don't just automatically get to pop back in and refile the case. You have to file something called a motion to extend stay to get a second shot at it. And judges are very likely to approve it, but that hearing must take place within 30 days of the filing. If you have two cases dismissed within a 12-month period and you file a third one, you have no protection, not a zip, zero the day you file the case, nothing until there is something called a motion to impose the stay. Personally, I don't file third cases because the success rate is so low. I don't, most of the time it doesn't help people. There are other firms who do, but I don't have a lot of confidence in, if you've had two Chapter 13s dismissed in the past year, pretty low odds you're going to be able to make that third one work. And I don't think it's helpful. So what do you do when your rent is so high or your mortgage is so high? And people do not like my answer. And my answer is move or sell the house, because you've got to make the math work. The math numbers have to work. I get it. A lot of people have a lot of emotional reasons why they cannot move. Um, some of them aren't emotional. So, a lot of times it revolves around the education of their children. I can't do it. This is not a possibility. Da 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 da. Kid has to stay in the same school. But here's the deal. You can't argue with math. You just can't. I mean, if there's not enough money to cover rent and there's not enough money to cover the mortgage, it doesn't matter what your reason is for staying, you're not going to be able to do it unless income is going to increase or expenses are going to decrease. And anytime you're filing a Chapter 13, you got to, budget a reasonable amount for food, clothing, car repairs. I mean, all these things are necessities, electricity. And, you know, I don't believe in filing a Chapter 13 and somebody saying, "Oh, I'm going to live on $100 a month and eat beans and rice for the next 5 years." That's just not. I don't think it's reasonable. I don't think it's doable. But we're more than happy to sit down with people and go through their income and budget. But the bottom line is, yes, you can predict somebody's future financial situation based on how much money are they paying for rent and mortgage as compared to their net income. 25% is ideal. I think 30% is okay. For every incremental point you start pushing above 30, we start getting closer to that 40, 50%. It's just not sustainable. If you've got any questions at all, please don't hesitate to give me a call. And you can check out my YouTube channel. And my website is kellycanhelp.com. And I've got a lot of other videos at kellycanhelp.dub.com. Got a lot of videos there. We also have a podcast, kellybankruptcy.com. Thank you so much for tuning in.